Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and with the Qitari once more. We apparently have reached the next step. Delving deeper. Squang! The serpent jumps about joyfully. It appears that the Qitari excavation effort is proceeding swimmingly. Speak with Quetzalcoatl and see if there's anything you might do to lend a hand. Oh, Serenia, you'll be happy to know that the charm your friend fashioned for us worked most splendidly. We've been able to reach deeper depths than ever before. And thanks to you, the restoration of our first Stella is all but complete. You simply must see it. You also be pleased to know that the relics and records that turned up in our subsequent trips below have confirmed that the interpretation of history that you espoused was indeed and indubitably true. We came upon many ritual instruments in the tunnels below. It's most clear that, let it suffice to say, we Qitari were never been particularly adept at the art of war. So it was that our ancestors searched far and wide for a safe haven where they could call home. Ronka, on the other hand, was composed of many strong peoples. The Ronso, brave warriors, the Dwan, adept at the arcane arts, and the Viis, peerless archers, all working together for the Empire's prosperity. Not long after the Qitari first made contact with the Empire, our skill as scribes and scriveners became evident to high-ranking court officials, and we were offered a prominent role in Ronkan society in return for our loyal service. 4 races so different and all living and working together for the greater good. Oh, what I would give to be able to live just one day in those glorious days of the Empire. But our work is far from done. Indeed, in our exploration, we found what appears to be an entrance leading to an even deeper level of the caves. I have little doubt that the remaining stelae lie further below. I've sent a team below to conduct a preliminary investigation before we begin the next phase of the excavation in earnest. My trusted scout Toval Manol should be here to make her report at any... Master Qitari, I bring news from below, news that I fear is not good. Again? I swear if we did not have rotten luck, we would have none at all. Do tell, what did you find down there? Entering the second stratum, we came upon a shrine to our protector, Oxtalan. It appears to have been ravaged by the beasts that lurk below, but still it stood after all these years. A shrine, you say? Now that it was erected by our ancestors, most likely to ward off some greater danger that lurks further below. This was my thought as well, Master Qitari. A cave-in, a flood, fearsome creatures from the deep. We were too fear-stricken to press onward, not knowing what manner of calamity might befall us. But we must press on somehow. Can we not appeal to the land somehow? That he might protect us as we delve further? Indeed, perhaps there's a more suitable ritual for the occasion. Sadly, if there is, I fear it's beyond my knowledge. Perhaps you might find an answer in Fannow? Why yes, indeed, the Viis are nothing if not well versed in rank and tradition. The one with hair the color of night, Master Lanier, was it? I hear she has lived as long as 10 Qitari. Yes, I'm certain she will have knowledge that will serve us well. Long-lived as they are, the wisdom they have passed down through generations doubtless rivals that which our ancestors recorded. If anyone can help us, I dare say it is them. But Serenia, pray take me to Fannow at once. I would meet their Master Lanier, that I might partake in her deep knowledge of ancient Ronkan rites. Haven't seen you in a while. We had rumors the Qitari had returned to the Greatwood, but did not expect to receive a visit so soon. Just seeing you brings back memories of olden times. Memories? Do you mean that you knew my ancestors? I'm older than you might think, my little friend. Anyhow, the answer is yes. Have you heard the name Shepal Tokal? She was a close friend of mine and would often come calling to exchange news of a wood. Shepal Tokal. I do believe I saw the name on father's family tree, but if I recall correctly, she was my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother? It was that long ago, was it? How quickly the years fly by. Still, I'm heartened by your presence, young Chakal. For many years after the flood, I feared we would never see one of your kind again. And you, Serenia? Welcome back to Fannow. What brings you to us this day? I see. Our Qitari friends seek to discover their history and reclaim the knowledge of lore of their ancestors. An admirable goal indeed, and doubtless not a simple task. We would be honored to lend you our aid, and reforge the bonds between our peoples that were so strong in the days of Ronka. Now do tell me more about the tunnels you are exploring. My dear sister has quite a weakness for ancient Ronkan ruins and relics, you see. To tell the truth, I had been preparing to leave the Great Wood on a journey of a realm, but if the Qitari require my aid, perhaps I could postpone my departure just a bit longer. Squee! It would seem that the Great Serpent smiles upon our partnership as well. This is auspicious indeed. Master Lanier, what knowledge of the Qitari lives on here in Fannow? Very little, I'm afraid. The tales I can remember hearing from my dear departed friend and no more. Sadly, the precise details of Qitari rites and rituals are beyond my recollection. And yet I do recall Shipal once mentioning that Qitari prayers to Oxdalan were remarkably similar in form to our own petition to Ixmaya. It's not so surprising, perhaps, given how closely our two peoples were connected in those days. If we were to teach you one of our own tradition, mayhap you could adapt it for your own purposes? You would do it for us? Gladly, old friend. But first we must needs to prepare a simple altar for performing the rite, and find ourselves a suitable offering. The liver and blood of an ancient beast, together with pristine water from a sacred spring near the Kimul Astropolis. Yes, I believe this will suffice. I know the waste of a beast of a wood. Leave the hunting to me. As for a final offering, I suspect Serenia would have little difficulty acquiring it, yes? Excellent. In the meantime, I will teach you ritual to young Chakal here. The passage into the tunnels larger would accompany you ourselves, but alas. Do not worry, my good Master Lanier. I will learn the words and gestures well, and the land will hear our plea. Just wait and see. You are a spirited one, child, but be forewarned, Master Lanier is a strict taskmistress. Egads, forgive me, my friends, I will do my best. Anyhow, let us all reconvene at Hoppelstobble when we are finished with our allotted tasks. I was wondering when you might return, Serenia. Have you found the offering that we require? Sacred spring water. The Viis believe this will suffice as an offering to Dalan. Very well, so be it. As soon as Chakal and the Viis arrive, we shall begin the second phase of the excavation. Why, just look at the Qitari scurrying about. I had heard they were an industrious people, but to see it with my own eyes, it's impressive indeed. Hail and well met. I'm Fina of Fannow, and Viis is my sister Siona. We have come to assist in the ritual of which your son has doubtless told you. Greetings, greetings. Please accept my apologies for making a fuss so close to your village and without properly paying my respects. I fear I've been quite preoccupied with my duties here. There is no need for that, friend. It is we who should apologize for our sisters who gave you such a fright upon your return home. As you may well know, our peoples were strong friends and allies in the days of Ronka. It's our honor to reforge response in the present days. Should you require anything of us, you need but say the word. Anyhow, thanks to Serenia here, it would seem we have all the offerings needed to proceed with the ritual. Do you remember all that Master Laniel taught you, Chakal? But of course, I said the words over to myself 100 times on the way here. I will do your Master Laniel and my people proud. I should hope so, my son. But well, let the dig begin. Some time later. Qitari Nuttall and Chakal Kotl have safely returned from their investigation of the tunnels. I cannot say for sure. We found a second stellar, but I fear, much as the last one, it proved too massive to carry to the surface. Just as we were pondering our next course of action, this armor-clad fellow arrived and let out a mighty... Precisely. While I cannot confess to fully understand the import of what it's saying, I can only surmise that the serpent once again wishes for us to call upon the wisdom of the ally of Ronka, Serenia that is, and restore the Stella to its erstwhile form. And yet, much as last time, the engravings are weathered to no small degree. I have my own thoughts about what they signify, but I would hear my son's theory first. What say you, Chakal? Well, let me see now. One marking was clearly of a Viis, knocking a bow. Then I could make out the semblance of a Qitari, its arms seemingly held in the air. An image of a Viis on a Qitari stone. How fascinating. Just as the first stela depicted our history of the Ronkan Empire, no doubt these markings tell of a first encounter between our two peoples. Having befriended the benevolent Ronkans, our people then met the Viis, skilled hunters and wise to the ways of the forest. So pleased were our ancestors that they threw their hands into the air in glee. That's a most optimistic interpretation, my boy. And yet I feel it's more logical to read the stone a different way. Doubtless the Viis came upon our ancestors small and scurrying about the forest and took them for prey. Facing arrows pointed at their hearts, our ancestors threw their hands in sheer terror. So it was that the Viis, newcomers to the Great Wood, nearly came into conflict with the mighty Ronkan Empire. Our legends tell us how the goddess XIV guided our people to the forest, but say little of what awaited us upon our arrival there. As far as we can say, both theories are more than plausible. Still, I would hope to believe... No, I will say no more. It would ill behoove me to stick my nose in matters of Qitari lore. I agree. Qitari history should be written by the Qitari themselves. In any event, we are pleased that we are able to contribute to our cause in some small way. We shall return to Fannow, but please do not hesitate to call upon us again. There's much catching up to do between our peoples. Once again, it seems we find ourselves with a choice to make. Squeak, squeak. Oof. Yes, sir, when you to depart unto us your wisdom once more, how are we inclined to interpret our history? Your reputation has increased to respected. Again, father and son have arrived at different theories. A building of a great serpent, it falls to you to serve as mediator. With the wisdom and blessings of a Viis, an altar to Xtalin has been constructed in Hoppelstoppel. Doubtless this will serve to protect and impart good fortune to the Qitari as they continue to explore the tunnels. New beast tribe quests, and furthermore you will be able to undertake additional quests. And more wares, as usual. Okay. We turn in the old quests. The workers have been experiencing all manner of difficulties of late. Worst among them are the cave-ins, which lead to cracked skulls and blocked tunnels. While we are still working on a solution to the former, we at least have a plan for the latter. Explosives. I'll spare you the detail, but to make our destruction-dealing devices, we need a smattering of saltpeter. Any you can provide will be gratefully received. By the power invested in Scream, I must say, the workers are doing a tremendous job at excavating all those relics, though I cannot help but notice that some of them are beginning to flag, to varying degrees. What they need is motivation. Luckily I have a cunning plan. Hotel Mattel has already agreed to assist me, so pray speak to him to learn what it entails. Tell me. Greetings, my good madam. I take it you're here on Kotal Puzzle's request, yes? The truth is we have uncovered a rather bizarre artifact in the deeper levels of the cavern. An urn, but one like no other. For inside was, for want of a more grandiose words, a whistle. Or perhaps it was a flute. Whatever it is, one brave soul took it and played a brief melody. And a moment later, something appeared within the otherwise empty vessel. The great serpent itself. Why, I could hardly believe my eyes, but what happened next was perhaps even more miraculous. Our divine visitor did release a heavenly light, and those who did receive of his blessing were as Qitari reborn, filled with vigor. Now listen carefully. By using the sacred whistle, you are to guide the great serpent to my fellows and grace them with its mystical light. I shall be praying for your success, my most esteemed and gracious comrade. Not yet, not quite yet. Rock and Ronka. Greetings, good madam. Our excavation proceeds apace, and just recently our workers unearthed a tablet inscribed with an ancient song. Oh, don't look so bewildered. Music has ever been a beloved pastime of the Qitari. As a matter of fact, this relic contains one of our great epics immortalized in a captivating melody. I would see this culturally significant piece performed once again, that it may live on in the hearts of our children and their children's children, and thus return to the rich tapestry of our history. That, madam, is where you come in. 3 holy stones from the waters of Lake Tusimekta ought to serve my needs. No 2 of these stones has holes in the same place, and the white ones make splendid flutes. Now we can take the mount. For this quest. Can you fly? You can fly. Is this supposed to be a mystical pot? Or magic pot? Or however the thing was called? Blessings of a great serpent itself, huh? Can't say I've done much to deserve it, but I take it all the same. Praise be. Good heavens above. Never felt so alive. Okay, do we have what I need? Some saltpeter? Ah yes, this is just what I was looking for. Probably, once it's been combined with grasses, saltpeter, charcoal, sulfur, and just a tiny splash of urine, not mine I might add, we should be ready to blast through that rubble. To be quite frank, I have not much experience with this sort of thing, but it seems like that I can eventually perfect it through trial and error. After all, what is the worst that could happen? You do know you're dealing with explosives here, right? I trust all went according to my, if I may say so, brilliant plan. It seems word of your exploits has spread quickly, and the other workers are doing their utmost to unearth yet more relics. As for the questions surrounding our divine benefactor and the reasons for its benevolence, the great serpent moves in mysterious ways. Sometimes it'll wiggle, other times it'll bob up and down and let out a mighty squeak. Yes, we are truly blessed. And the holy stones. Yes, if we do splendidly, there's not but as stirring as an expertly crafted melody. Even the Ronka showed obeisance to Oxchal by composing songs of worship that the moon and sky might remain firmly in their place. Music honors the gods eternal, while also making timeless our most epic tales, and I dare say it is ever so slightly more entertaining than a dry narrative, wouldn't you agree? Perhaps soon we'll put the deeds of a warrior of darkness to song, so that none forget the turning of fate that restored night to the world. Okay, now the choice. I believe I go with Chakal again this time, because honestly, I consider that we had this hands up of a Qitari, right? And I don't think that would have stopped the Viis, and that would have a different scene, like a bit bloodier or something. So, assuming that the Viis are, when they actually hunt, more ruthless than that, I doubt they actually wanted to hunt the Qitari. You too, Sir Oh, Master Lani welcomed us when we visited Fannow, yes? Why, it's simply preposterous to think that the friends of my great-great-grand and so on grandmother and father hunted us like vermin. Yes, I'm quite certain that the Viis were our friends from the earliest of days. The Qitari in the markings is meant to be raising his hand in sheer joy. Surely you agree? Splendorous! Oh, thank you, Serenia. I knew you would see things as I did. You believe my son is the right of it? Well, I suppose there's something to be said for adopting a brighter view of history. Very well, let us proceed with the restoration. At long last, another piece of our history comes into focus. But our struggle to reclaim our legacy goes on. Pray continue to lend us your aid. Father and I will send out our finest artisans. The work must begin at once. The second Qitari stele has been restored to depict Jakal Kotl's interpretation of a first encounter between the Qitari and the Viis. Protected by the new altar erected to a tradition of the Viis and heartened by rediscovering another piece of their heritage, the stewards have returned to their excavation efforts with newfound zeal. Should you choose, continue to aid them in their cause. Alright, and that was another step for the Qitari. Until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.